And I believe I'm live. First time in a long time I'm actually been on time. Let me see if I can get this pulled up. Oh, it is. Okay. Hey everyone, I hope everyone is doing well and I hope you're coping well with this whole virus thing and staying safe and staying home if you can, honestly. Um, Tonight, of course, we are going to be recapping the Sisterwives Season 14, Episode 14, that is titled Babysteps, and this is the second to the last episode, so next week is the season finale. And what topics are we going to talk about after that? I'm not for sure. If you have any suggestions on future topics for Monday nights, leave them down in the comments below. Because I'll still be going live every Monday night at 10 p.m. Eastern Time. We might do Teen Mom or 90 Day Fiance. Because they have 90 Day Fiance is coming out with 90 Day Fiance Quarantined. So I might do something to do with that. Or we can do something makeup related. So just if you have any ideas or suggestions, let me know. Anyways, before we get started, if you like reality TV and a little bit of makeup, be sure to subscribe down below if you haven't done so already. Click the notification bell, make sure it's set to all. And if you could do me a favor and hit the like button, I would greatly appreciate it. Now, before I get started, I'm going to go ahead with my disclaimer that I thought I didn't have to do no more, but some people are, they can't comprehend. But this recap of the Sister Wives has my opinions of my own in it, things I've seen on the show, and this is not about anyone in particular. Yes, I have known someone who is in polygamy, but this isn't about that person, and if you believe it is, well, that's too bad because it's not. I reference anything from my life to the things I've seen on the show. That is it. But hey, if the shoe fits, then wear it, but don't blame me. That is my disclaimer. Now, this episode, I wish it got from last week. I thought that it was going to be a little bit more in detail with Meri and Kody and the relationship issues when they went to go see a therapist. They did dive into it a little bit, but not much. That was the last scene of it all, and it kind of didn't jump back and forth all around like they normally do, so I can go straight down in the line. They first started off in North Carolina, of course. Christine, Kody, and Isabel, who is Christine and Kody's daughter, ended up going to North Carolina for Maddie's pregnancy when she thought she was going into labor. Janelle was already there. Maddie ended up going for a checkup to see if she was anywhere close to being done because the birthing center was 2 hours from her home and she really wanted to go home and relax. And come to find out, she was only 4 centimeters, so 3 or 4 centimeters. So they sent her home. The next day, they all had a dinner together. Caleb, who is Maddie's husband, then Maddie, their son Axel, Christine, Isabel, Janelle, and Kody. They all had dinner together, and it ends up coming out that Isabel, again, Kody, and Christine's daughter, wants to move to North Carolina after she graduates high school and she wants to go to college there. Well, she's already talked about it with Christine, and Christine's said that she's all for children leaving the home after they graduate and get older. And Maddie and Caleb already knew about this, and they actually was saying that Maddie could live with them while she goes to college. Well, this is the first time that Kody's ever hearing about it. Christine said that she may or may have not told Kody, accidentally not told Kody, but we all know she told him because she knew that Kody would flip his lid. Kody said that he made some big accusations against Maddie and Caleb. He was not okay with Isabel wanting to go to the East Coast to go to college. And he said that, well, Kody said that if Maddie and Caleb tried to attract their siblings to going to live to North Carolina, they are fundamentally responsible for killing the family experience. That's a big statement. So you're saying it's Maddie and Caleb's fault if your kids want to move away after they get older. First off, they have a right to do that. And second off, well, maybe it's not all what it's cracked up to be, the whole polygamy thing and living by Kody and them. Maybe they just don't want to live by him no more. Maybe he needs to rethink his attitude. Because that's a big statement. If people want to move wherever they want to, you cannot blame their siblings for that. And because he said that even Christmas will probably separate them all because certain mothers like Janelle and Christine probably would want to go to North Carolina for Christmas when the rest of them stay in Flagstaff. So it would separate them at Christmas time. And that if Kody said that if the moms would fall for that, they are suckers. And that's like, why would you call your wives suckers? But hey, Bargain. All right. You have a good night. Then after they have that dinner and after the private interview, Kody heads back to Flagstaff after dinner, and he's going to wait till Maddie goes into labor, then he'll fly back to North Carolina because he's got obligations with Robin with the whole moving situation. And he ends up kissing Christine and Janelle in front of each other to say bye. And Kody said he usually does that, like if he's just going real quick, and he'll just give him a kiss and head out the door. Janelle, of course, she goes with the flow. She doesn't care if he does that. Christine, she's like half and half. Pretty much, it depends on what kind of mood Christine is in of that day, if she's okay with it. That was pretty much all with the whole Maddie going into labor, because I do believe the next episode they showed Maddie going into labor for the season finale. And it seems like she was rushing for Caleb to get there. She was in a lot of pain. And it looks like the baby didn't end up turning. And she was having complications. And they were thinking that she would have to go to the actual hospital. Janelle was scared. And Caleb was like, I just want to know what's wrong with my baby girl. Of course, we know that their daughter does have issues where her some of her limbs are not fully grown, and there's a piece of her part of her bone in her leg that never grew in. So she does have complications, but other than that, it sucks that she has a disability, but thankfully she's alive and apparently doing well. So, but that's the whole birth situation is for the season finale next week. Yeah, they are drawing the episodes out this season. Like a lot of this season was just a couple episodes drawn out. And they don't give you any details of anything, and then they wonder why you speculate on what's going on inside their relationships and everything. Like, first you put your shit out there so people are going to talk about it, but when you don't give us the inside detail and you want us to believe one thing, we can't believe that without seeing it. They really drawn it out, and it is sad about their daughter. I remember reading that like 6 months to a year ago. Maddie did like an interview talking about it's a real odd word, what they call it, and very few babies are born like this. But it's very sad knowing that she'll have complications growing up as far as mobility. But with me having cerebral palsy and having mobility issues that way. As growing up, I had learned to deal with it, but I always think to myself with my issues that it always could be worse. And the the baby's, the daughter's here, and I guess that's, number one thing is that she's at least doing okay. But so that was it for that whole situation. Then it moves on to Robin, and they start off on Coyote's past. They have 4 U-Hauls that have all their stuff in it. Right now, they are living in the house that they're trying to buy. And this scene was kind of like, I don't know, it's kind of confusing. But they're living in their rental property, or not the rent. They're living in the house that they want to buy, but they're renting it out until all the paperwork goes through. And Robin made a statement about buying houses that made no sense to me. Then again, I'm not in a plural family, so I would know nothing of this. So who knows? Because I don't know the answer to it. But Robin says every single time that they try to buy a house, their plural family situation gets brought into it because they're all connected financially. The bank now wants the financials of each of the wives, like Christine, Janelle, Meri. The bank now wants their financial information, and in the words of Robin, plural families don't fit into the world of mortgages. Now, I had written down here, in my head, I'm thinking, why? Because Robin and Kody are legally married, and the marriages to the other wives are just what you call, I guess, spiritual. So I don't understand how they could be connected. Only way I could see them being connected is if Kody owns the other houses with the other wives, and then that way he owns like 4 other houses. Why does he buy in another house? The bank might be thinking. But why they would need the financial information from the other wives is beyond me, because they don't live with Robin and Kody, so what does it matter? The only thing I can see them connected is the house, if Kody is on the other mortgages with the other wives. I don't see it makes no sense to me. But then again, I have a mortgage with just my name on it. I don't share it with nobody else. So I don't know the ins and outs of that, but I don't see if technically he's not married to them, but he's married to Robin. It should only matter with Robin and Kody. So I don't know. It's very confusing of why they would even take a plural family situation into consideration when you're buying a house, because legally it's not binding. I don't know. But that's what she said. Uh well, no, they don't share. Bargain says they share income, bank accounts, etc. They probably don't have separate bank accounts. No, they do have separate bank accounts, because I remember um Robin telling her sister wives that in her account she has the money from the Las Vegas house, and that she hasn't touched it. So she was telling them about her financial uh situation as far as what the bank account looks like. So I was assuming that they wasn't connected, because of course the family would be able to see in the bank account if the money was in there. And if they all put each other's name on each property they own, I don't know, that seems stupid to me. Because I'd be damned if I'm gonna let somebody take my house. That's why I am the only one on my home. Because when it comes, I mean, I don't want to think anything's ever gonna happen to my spouse and I, as far as breaking up, splitting up, or whatever. But when it comes down to the nitty gritty, I want to make sure my kids have a place to live. You know what I mean? So if you're sharing a mortgage with a man and 3 other wives, they have a say so in that property, and then you got to sell it off, divvy it up, and you're left with pennies to be able to afford for you and your children. That makes no sense to me. Ah, true. That's a good point. Bergen says that maybe they can only buy if they have all incomes listed individually. They may not make enough money to buy on their own. That is a possibility. And I guess considering that they probably all are on the check from TLC and that's their income. So if they're all on that check and then they got to divvy it up, they only see the mortgage place only sees what what's on that check. That would make sense. Yeah, they are buying expensive houses, getting over their heads. Because I think this one that they're trying to buy now is 7 bedroom, and she has 5 kids. But I mean, a lot of them are close in age to where they can share a room. Like, why wouldn't you do that and rent a house with 4 or 5 bedrooms? Have the 2 oldest girls share a room, have the boy and the youngest boy share a room, or figure out something. That way you can cut down your cost of living. That way you can get into Coyote's Pass sooner. Yeah, no, they're not being smart long term at all. I think just like with the whole Twitter thing, I think that he got in over his head and he used the coronavirus as a excuse, being like, "Oh, I'm glad I moved out of there before all this started." No, what you should have had done was fucking sold one house and maybe rented another, or at least figure out what you were doing and do it prior to moving to Flagstaff, in a hurry. And then now you're stuck with all these mortgages and high rent and not the house not being built because they moved from Las Vegas almost 2 years ago and Coyote's Pass could have been built by now. But as far as them moving with the whole U-Haul trucks, they only have 5 more days until the U-Haul trucks have to go back. And Kody says that after them 5 days, he's thinking about getting a storage unit. And Robin doesn't want to do that. She doesn't like that idea. And she wants to rent the U-Hauls for more days. And remind you, they got 4 of them. And he said that they might already be for rent, when he returns them. Yeah, it is sad because the wives and kids like Las Vegas seems their family fell apart because they moved. Yeah. And I think they wanted what they had in Las Vegas, but they wanted it somewhere else, like in Flagstaff. But they needed to build Coyote's Pass before even thinking about moving. And I think that a lot of the older kids are wanting to move away because they see the tension between them all and they rather not deal with it. That's my opinion. And then the last part, probably like the last half hour, was nothing about Meri and Kody going to counseling. Meri and Kody drive together to Las Vegas. They go back to Las Vegas to see their therapist, Nancy, for marriage counseling. And Meri says on the drive there, they hardly talked, that she was very guarded. And Meri and Kody, and when they get there, Nancy, the therapist, said that Meri and Kody had the largest file at her office. I don't know if that's a good thing or bad thing. Mary's like, I don't know if that's because it's good that we're trying to work things out, or is it a bad thing because we got a lot of problems. Yeah, I've never liked Robin either. She seemed very stuck up, very self-centered, and to say, I don't want to get a storage unit and I want to rent U-Hauls. U-Hauls are expensive. To rent 4 of them, it would be cheaper to get a storage unit. But she doesn't want to do that. That's crazy to me. Kody says that him and Mary's family, their dynamic is they act as if they're family, but not married. And throughout this season, we could see Meri trying to saying, "I want more with Kody. I want more with Kody," but he's not trying to work with me. So I seen him being very guarded too, too. And Kody said that to the therapist that he wants to make the rest of the family right before fixing his marriage with Meri. Like he wants himself to be all right with the rest of the family, his wives and children, and fixing the whole children situation. On top of he wants Meri to fix her relationships with the other sister wives and some of the older children that she had fallen off with before he would even consider, working on their marriage, which I think is odd. Like, I don't care if Christine and Meri, for example, were cat fighting, arguing all the time. Kody, I hear sirens. It's unusual in the middle of BFE. But anyways, Kody, if Christine and Meri were always arguing, that should not matter between Kody and Meri's relationship. I think he should focus on his relationship with his children and then on his wives individually. I don't think he knows how to handle 4 wives. But the narcissistic ways of polygamist in Kody's situation, it's got to be his way or no way, and he thinks he can do it all. Kody also says that Meri has better work relationships than she does relationships with the family. And I'm thinking to myself, well, have you ever thought maybe because she puts so much effort into work in her work relationships because shit ain't right at home? So if you don't have time, or if you don't have the right investment into the family, might as well go off and do something that makes you happy. And what seems to be for Meri is her work because she prides herself on the Lizzie house and her LuLaRoe, even though it's a scamming MLM company. She prides herself on that, and that's what she's focusing on. And Kody says that their relationship problems go deeper than the catfish thing, which is surprising. I thought the catfish thing had a lot to do with their relationship. But he said that's the wake up call that they had was with the whole catfish thing, but it's gone deeper and for a longer period of time. And he also says that Meri mourns what they had when he regrets everything that they had, which is kind of telling that what he's saying is he technically doesn't love her anymore, and he never really did, because he does go on to say that he there was a fast courtship and he married her without knowing who she really was. In the private interviews, Meri says that people ask her all the time why she doesn't leave, and her response was that she wouldn't just be walking away from Kody, but she'd be walking away from the kids and the other relationships that she has good with, like the other sister wives that she's in good with. And in my head, I'm thinking, well, your daughter Mariah obviously veered to the right. She's dating someone of the same sex, and she moved away, and she's not in a whole polygamy thing. I think Mariah would be very accepting of her mother leaving. No, from what I heard through the grapevine, that Meri's mother, Bonnie, she's not for Meri leaving. That she would disown Meri because Bonnie was also a part of a polygamous relationship. So if that's true, that would suck. But I could see Meri's pretty much on her own as it is, and they hardly talk, since they live so far apart. It would make sense that Meri would just move on. Meri agrees that she's in defensive mode, but doesn't agree with Kody when he calls it victim mode. In my opinion, she is a victim. She's a victim of polygamy. Point blank, period. She's a victim of Kody. I do believe that 100%, but she doesn't see herself that way. Kody sees it that she plays victim all the time, but she says that's just defensive mode. Kody said I found this funny, that Kody says that it's exhausting to try and fill up the love tank to correct things. And in my head, I'm thinking, you're tired of trying to fill the love tank, but you're willing to do it for your 3 other wives, or try to, and then bitch about it when you can't fulfill it. Like, you got yourself in this predicament, point blank, period. And I put on there with my in my head, my little, what I was thinking at the time. I was thinking what he told Truly when she was riding that bike and he wanted to tell her, suck it up, Buttercup. That's what I wrote down, that Kody needs to suck it up, Buttercup. And when their therapist, Nancy, says that she wants to go in a little bit deeper today, would Kody and Meri be up for it? Meri said, yeah, I'm up for it. And Kody goes, yeah, I'm up for it, but I'm not up for any criticisms. Like, he doesn't want to be criticized for what he does wrong. Which I'm thinking to myself, yeah, go figure. And when Kody was doing a private interview, he said that him and Meri aren't interested in breaking up because it's not the religion aspect of it, but it's more like the commitment part. And why break something up that's fixable? Because Nancy, their therapist, says it's fixable. And in my head, I was like, let her go to be happy. Obviously, you're miserable, she's miserable, let her go. And that, of course, most therapists are going to tell you that it is fixable unless, you know, you got it's fixable in most cases, like unless there's abuse or there's just deep rooted crap. Most therapists are going to tell you that, yeah, it's worth fixing. And what was weird is right after that, the Nancy says that she needs a 2-minute break to collect her thoughts. I've never, ever, many years as I've been seeing a therapist, never had a therapist say, I need to go away for a second to collect my thoughts. That tells you right there, unless it was the cameras that she wanted to collect her thoughts on, but after that, they try to work on turning the negatives into positives instead of Kody saying, like, you know, you're better with your work relationships than you are with the relationships of the people in your family. Instead, he should turn it around and say, hey, you got good work relationships. How about I hope you apply that with the family too? Like turning negative thoughts into positive ones. I don't think Kody's even capable of that, to be honest. And at the end, Meri says that she does see the light, but her walls are up and she's very cautious. And this is funny. And Nancy their therapist hit it right on the head, that Nancy tells Kody that he is controlling, that she has never seen Kody not get his way, just like the move from Las Vegas. Everything Kody wants, Kody gets because he bitches about it until he gets his way. But she also says Meri is controlling as in a protective way, like she protects her feelings and all that and her loved ones and whatnot. That's a different type of controlling, if you ask me. But it was very telling that even the therapist said that Kody gets his way and that he's very controlling when it comes to that. Nancy also said that if they had a conversation about being controlling, and basically admit that's their faults, they would have a great conversation. And Meri agrees 100%. And their assignment from the therapist, their takeaway was that they need to work on control together, and they both agree to do so. Meri, in a private interview, goes on to say that she agrees that she is glad that Kody agrees to see a therapist because she feels as if she has been trying for years and nothing is working, that it had gotten worse. And Kody, at the end of it, says that he's gotten some tools from Nancy that he hopes that Meri took away the same thing, and he's hoping to work on it. I don't see Kody ever working on it. I think he's doing this to appease Meri and to make himself look good for the camera. But as far as probably going back to therapy when the cameras aren't rolling, I don't see it happening. So that was basically it. And next week, they are going to be talking, or they're going to be going through Maddie having the baby. And that's all that they showed. I don't know if they're having any other situation. Maybe about Robin, them getting the house or whatnot, him and Robin. Not for sure of that part, but that's what's going down next week. And I want to take this moment and to say that next week will be the last of the Sister Wives, and we're going to go into a different topic. I don't see what the big issue is about me talking about the Sister Wives. I'm not going anywhere. If people think that they can run me off of YouTube, it's not happening. And just to leave me and my friends alone. Because I'm quite sick of it. I don't bother anybody. I live my life with all my disabilities, with all the issues I have going on, and all of us going through this virus, that the least of somebody's fucking worries should be about what I'm doing. I'm sick of the bullshit, and the shit needs to fucking end. It's bullshit, and that's exactly what it is. So, to whomever, and you know who you are, stop, because you look pathetic. Just leave me and my friends alone. We're just trying to make it in this crazy world of the whole virus. Just stop. Because it's sick. People's minds rather be through this virus. Shit, I just threw my pen. People's minds rather be through this virus, or that's just the way they think prior to this virus, are some sick individuals who think that you can just freaking pick on people. Just stop. I watched Sister Wives prior to even coming on YouTube. I just put a video out 45 freaking minutes ago about 90 Day Fiancé. I don't get that many views. I'm enjoying what I do. Just leave me alone. I don't get what's so freaking hard about that. And if you think you're going to run me off, you got another thing coming. There might be weeks that I take off because I don't feel good. But it's because I don't feel good. So like I said before, these videos have my opinions in them. Don't take it out on anyone else. And I'm not referring to anyone in particular outside of the show that I am talking about. So, if the shoe fits, then God by God, fucking wear it. But don't blame me for your fucking issues. And with that said, if you like reality TV and a little bit of makeup, which I will be doing a nail video, hopefully I have it up tomorrow. I'll be doing that, and then I'll be doing probably what I got through the 21 days of Ulta sale. And I'm also going to be coming on camera to do like makeup tutorials while I talk about reality shows. That'll be coming up. So if you have not subscribed already, you can do so below. And if you could hit that thumbs up for me, I would greatly appreciate it. And remember, it's always better to be on the outside of the drama, looking in. I don't want it, don't need it. I hope everyone stays safe through the virus and staying home if possible. And if you have to go out, please, please, please be cautious. Until my next video, I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.